Okay, guys, let's get started. Adjust this camera back down. Gianni, let me know if you can hear me. I'm gonna switch my mask out for my shield. Okay, guys, let's pray. Heads bowed, eyes closed. Savannah's absent today. Yes, ma'am, you have a question? Okay, I'll help you in a little bit, okay? We'll come back to that. All right, let's pray. Dear Jesus, thank you for this day. Lord, thank you for all of your blessings. Lord, thank you for taking care of us. Lord, thank you for the provision of a home that you've given each and every one of these students and a family. Lord, and food on the table. Lord, you really have been so good to us. Lord, thank you for the opportunity for each of these students to be able to come to a Christian school. Lord, a school that's meeting in person. Lord, we're so grateful for that. Lord, I pray that you would just help us to listen, help us to learn. Lord, help us to fully engage in our classes each and every day so that we can be the best that you would want us to be. Lord, we love you. In your name I pray. Amen. Once again, remember the habits that we are developing. Mr. Rule, my husband, is reading a book about developing good habits. And it's so important because you don't realize that everything you do on a daily routine, on a daily basis, you are developing habits. And we know habits, eyes up here, simply like how to pay attention in listening class. That's a habit you form. But we think about small habits like brushing our teeth every day. How many of you would say that's an important habit to develop? I would say that's an important, habit to develop. We develop that when we're younger. Hopefully our mom and dad, when we're younger, we don't just wake up and go, oh, I got to go brush my teeth. Our mom and dad sometimes have to make us. Now, by the time you get into 6th grade, your mom and dad shouldn't have to make you brush your teeth anymore, right? Should be something that we just do because it's proper hygiene. We wake up in the morning, we brush our teeth, we get ready. We don't just roll out of bed and throw some clothes on and come to school. Hopefully we've developed good habits, okay? And it's the same thing in the classroom. You develop good habits. You are forming who you're going to be as you get older. Our pastor just gave this illustration that when you're a child, when you're younger, you're like wet cement, okay? How many of you have ever, when you've maybe moved into a new house and they've poured cement, have you guys ever done the handprints in the cement? Anyone ever done that? I know when I was younger, we moved into a new house and they poured the cement and we all put our family, we all put our handprints down in the year so that we would have that memory. But putting your hand in that cement when it's wet, it's impressionable, right? You can form it. You can make it what you want to be. But then what happens to that concrete?
It gets hard.
Eventually, when it dries, it gets hard. Can you form it once it's hard? No. So right now, you guys are in that wet cement stage. You are being formed. Everything you allow into your eyes, your ear gates, what you listen to, who you hang around, how you respond to your parents, how you respond to your teachers, that is forming you. It's pushing you. It's making you who you're going to be. So you have to decide, what do I want to be? Who do I want to become? What do I want to do when I get older? And am I on that path? Am I forming my life? Is my life being formed to become that person that not only what you want to do, but what God has for you? God has a special plan for each and every one of you. When I was younger, I had no idea that I was going to end up working at a school. In fact, I was very shy. Is anyone else in here very shy? Okay, a couple of you. When I was in school, I was very shy. Now, around my friends, I talked, but for the most part, I was a very shy person. In class, I would probably have been considered the teacher's pet. I always sat up straight, folded my hands, listened. I liked to get the awards at the end of the year. But part of that was just I was very quiet and shy. And so, but yet God started forming me, and God allowed people in my life to help form me, and really had to bring me out of myself to be able to stand up in front of people and teach and speak in front of parents. That's something that's not natural for me. God had to form me. I had to allow people. I had to develop habits that would allow me to learn organization and how to be a leader. Okay? So those are all things that you are learning right now. And I'm challenging you as 6th graders because you're right at that age where you're going into high school. And you can sit there and go, oh, whatever. This isn't important. And then you're going to end up going into college, like, why did I waste all this time? I could have been so much further along if I would have listened, if I would have pushed myself, if I would have worked a little bit harder. Maybe I could have gotten a scholarship to this college. Maybe I could have gotten this better job promotion. And so I'm challenging right now, because you're still young enough to redirect some of that, right? Your cement's not hard. You can still decide right now who you want to become, and you can start working on that. Do you have certain interests? Maybe it's sports, boys. Okay. Well, if you're going to be focused in sports, you still have to be a leader, right? You got to work on leadership. You got to work on working hard, because that's what it takes to be an athlete. You have to work hard all the time. You have to prove that you're the best one on that court. Athletes that go to college, they have to keep their grades up. Okay, so you got to start working on, I'm going to be a student. Okay, so there's a lot of things that you can start working on right now, developing those study habits, developing respect. I was just talking to my administrator, Mr. S, you guys know him, and we were talking about a couple staff members who in staff meeting, maybe they just don't pay attention like they should. And I told you guys, I told Mr. S, I just talked to my 6th graders about this, but it does, those habits that you develop, they carry on into adulthood, and they will affect your job and your job performance. So little things like learning respect. When an adult is talking to you, whether it's your mom or your dad, by the way, when it's your mom or dad, the Bible says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, but it also says to honor them. Not just obey, but honor. So when your mom, your dad, your grandma, and grandpa are talking to you, you should be looking them right in the eye. That shows respect. You should be listening. We shouldn't have an attitude. We should say, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I'd be glad to. How can I help you? And that's something that's not, it's not old-fashioned. It's just respect. Have you guys ever talked to a person in the military? How do they answer you when you talk to someone in the military? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. That's just a term of endearment. It's a term of respect. So you're learning to show that respect. And you know what? People respect that. People go, wow, that person's on top of it. That person has respect, and they like that. And so I'm challenging you guys, because I think some of our weaknesses in this class is not that we're not intellectual. It's not that we're, if you don't know what that means, not smart. I think all of you are very smart. I think we're struggling because somewhere along the line, we've lost the habit of learning how to sit up and listen in class, how to apply ourselves, how to study. Okay? You're not going to have a teacher your whole life that holds your hand and babies you. Did you get this assignment in? Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you put your name on it? At some point, you have to learn that responsibility, right? Developing those habits. Your mama's not going to go with you to your first job interview. That's going to be you all by yourself. Your teacher's not going to go with you and help you. Did you fill out that application correctly? And so we're learning, we're developing habits. And I think some of the area that we struggle in this class is just learning the basics. How to listen, how to study, how to work hard. America is great. You hear that all the time. America is great. And why is America great? America is great because we have a really great work ethic in America. The Bible says if a man doesn't work, neither shall he eat. And so in America, back all the way from when the Pilgrims came over, remember the whole story, the Pilgrims came over? The Indians taught them how to what? Work. How to plant, how to grow your own crops, how to harvest that. And we've had this work ethic ever since. And we've been, you know, a man can have nothing. He could be poor and broke and have nothing to his name. And in America, if he puts his mind to it, he could work and make a lot of money. There's a lot of things that if I step down from this job, I could still go and make my own amount of money. If you have drive and you work hard, you can be successful in America, okay? So I want to challenge you guys every day. I will do it every day until I see some improvement in this area. I want to challenge you to work hard because I care about you. And like I said, I already have students that I taught in 1st and 2nd grade. They're graduated, they're in the military, they're married, and they're successful. And I have some that aren't. And so my goal and my heart for you is that in a few years, you can call, text, write a note, say, Mrs. Roll, this is what I'm doing. I'm successful. Hey, thank you for helping me. And that's my goal. And some of you, like I said, it may be funny to you, it might be humorous, you may not care at all what I'm saying, but I'm not going to stop saying it because I believe in it that much. Okay, I want you to be successful, and I want you to have a good life, and it starts by developing habits in school and developing habits at home at a young age. when you're moldable and you're forming. Your life is being formed right now. What you are doing right now is going to determine how successful you are in the future. Okay? Page number 50 is where we are. Gianni, let me check. See? You can hear? Good. All right, page 50. We started talking about apostrophes yesterday. Who can remember when is one way or one time that we use apostrophes? Josiah. To show what? Yes, to show ownership. Or what's the other word for that, guys? Possession. Okay? I would not say, I saw the book of Josiah lying on the ground. I would say I saw Josiah's book lying on the ground. Okay? I would not say the mask of Tristan is on his face properly. I would say Tristan's mask is on properly. Okay? So when we are showing ownership, we're going to use that apostrophe S. When else do we use an apostrophe S? Or an apostrophe we talked about yesterday. Adam? We learned 3 rules yesterday about apostrophes.
Possessive.
We just said that. The first one was to show possession. Cat's bowl. Whose bowl? It's the cat's bowl. It's showing possession. This marker is dead. Okay? But we had 2 more rules. And if you don't remember them, you can look back. Shane, what was another one?
Like if you have dot, you like take out the O and not and you put
Okay, good. So when we have omitted, is that how they worded it? Yeah. Omitted letters or numbers. Okay, that word omitted, in case you don't know what that means, omitted just means you've left it out. You've taken it out, okay? So here we're talking about our contractions. Cannot. I put them together. The N pops out. The O pops out. And I put an apostrophe in its place. And now I have the word can't, okay? If I'm talking about, let's see, another example, like Ed was one of our examples. I wouldn't say Ed is. If I'm talking quickly, I would just say Ed's going to the house. Okay, so anytime you omit a number or letter, we talked about the year. If I omit, by the way, good job. If I omit the first part of the year, then I would put an apostrophe in its place. Okay? What was the third rule that we learned yesterday? It's a long time ago. Liviana? Yes, okay, so when we're using numbers or letters as words. So, for example, if I said you need to work on your cursive T's or your number 5s, when I'm using those letters or numbers as a word, I'm going to use an apostrophe S, okay? All right, so let's go to page 51. We practiced this area of possession on page 50 yesterday. Page 51, it says think back. The top of the book there. Everyone make sure you're on page 51 in your language books. An apostrophe separates 2 letters in a word. You guys see how they wrote Linda's in cursive? Did they separate the A and the S? No. So the apostrophe is what does that. When you're writing in cursive, you keep the letters connected, but the apostrophe tells us that we're separating those letters. Okay, so make sure you make a note of that. Let's look at thing D. Circle the words which need apostrophes. Rewrite the words correctly on notebook paper. You can just rewrite it right next to the sentence. Let's look at number 1. We're not going to do all of them. We're going to do all the odds. Okay, if you want to circle them so you don't accidentally do the wrong ones, we're doing 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Okay, let's look at number 1. There were too many uhs in William's speech. Where would we need to put apostrophes here? Liviana? Yeah, between the H and the S, because we're using that word as a word there. So between the H and the S, and there's one more that we need a apostrophe for. Landon? Williams. Whose speech was it? It was William's speech. It's possessive here. Number 3. My 4 friends' parents were in the stands. Actually, if you guys just want to insert the apostrophe instead of rewriting them, that's fine with me too. Okay? As long as I understand you're getting the concept here. Number 3, my 4 friends' parents were in the stands. Where do we need to put an apostrophe in here? Josiah? Say what? You need to put them on both, friends and parents? Which one? Is parents possessive? Which word is possessive here? Friends. Whose parents were they? They were my friends' parents. Where does the apostrophe go in the word friends, Josiah? It does not go between the D and the S because we have 4 friends here. That's plural. It goes after the S. Okay, make sure you're reading those sentences thoroughly. If it's plural, remember the S goes at the end if the plural form ends in an S. Number 5, you should not use ands in formal writing. Adam? Good. Between the and sign and the S. And we're using that as a word. Number 7, Allie counted 4 ands in the run together sentence. Tony? Yes, after the D, before the S in ands. Okay, number 9. John's grandmother's dog is named Ginger. John's grandmother's dog is named Ginger. Ariel? Okay, good. Where at? So does he have 2 grandmothers? Before the S. Good. So in grandmother, grandmother apostrophe S. There's one more word that needs an apostrophe here. Do you know what, Ariel? John's. And where does it go? Before the S. John apostrophe S, grandmother apostrophe S. Both of these are possessive. Whose grandmother? It was John's grandmother. And whose dog? It was grandmother's dog. Okay, let's look at thinking. Read me the instructions here, Cameron, please. Nice and loud.
The following is in the use of apostrophe. Use proofreader's mark to show the corrections. The first one is done.
Okay, good. So remember our proofreader's mark. If we need to insert something, what is the proofreader's mark for that? It's like an arrow, right? So if you're going to do an apostrophe, it would go above it. So instead of below it like we normally do, okay? Okay, let's look at number 1. The Schwartz's house needed several $1,000s worth of repair. The Schwartz's house needed several $1,000s worth of repair. Tristan? That one's already done. Thank you for telling me. So you'll notice that they inserted apostrophe after Schwartz's, and in between, they deleted the apostrophe with dollars because it should have gone after the S, not between the R and the S, because we had more than $1. Let's look at number 2. Its roof hadn't been torn off during the storm, but it had been damaged. Do we see any errors in apostrophes in this sentence? Gavin? Good, so we need to add an apostrophe, hadn't, between the N and the T. And there's one more error. Very good. We need to delete the apostrophe in it. Okay? Remember when we're deleting, we have I-T apostrophe S. Remember our delete mark means we circle it and a little pigtail. Okay? Why would we delete that apostrophe? Tony? Good. It with apostrophe stands for it is. We are not saying it is roof, hadn't been. So this one's possessive. The possessive form of its is a little bit of an exception. It's just ITS. Number 3, who's the composer of It's a Grand Thing to Be a Christian? There are 2 errors in this sentence. Shane, you think you can find it for me?
Like one after the O.
Good. We need to enter one after the O and whose. Okay?
And then the like 2 things after Christians, we put them after the question mark.
No, because it's the question. Who's the composer of It's a Grand Thing to Be a Christian? We're looking for problems with our apostrophes. So there's one more spot where we have an error with an apostrophe, or we need an apostrophe. Yeah, we need to put an apostrophe in the word it's, because right here we're trying to say it is a grand thing to be a Christian. So in that case, we would need the apostrophe. Yes, sir? IT apostrophe S is short for it is, yes. So if you're trying to use the possessive form, like it's bone, then you would use it without the apostrophe. Normally possession gets an apostrophe, but its is an exception. So just remember that one, okay? Number 4, the prairie dog, whose enemy is the coyote, always makes its burrow with 2 exits. Olive, there's one error. Yes, this one is possessive, so we need to delete that apostrophe. We are not trying to say always makes it is burrow. We're trying to say the possessive form there. So no apostrophe. Number 5. It's better to wear out than to rust out. Adam? Good. We need to put an apostrophe between the T and the S. It is better to wear out than to rust out. Number 6. Peyton, I'm going to have you do this one. Hadn't we better go inside since it's beginning to rain? There are 2 errors and apostrophes here. We need to insert 2 somewhere. Good. And there's one more place where we need an apostrophe. Very good. We're going to insert one between the T and the S. It is beginning to rain. Number 7, Emmeline. Don't forget to dot your I's and cross your T's. There are 3 errors here that we need to fix. We need 3 apostrophes. Can you give them to me?
One between the N.
Okay. At the very end, yes.
And don't put a comma between N and T.
An apostrophe, yes, between the N and the T. So we have don't, we have the apostrophe and T's, and there's one more.
And then between the T.
Say that again. Don't forget to dot your I's and cross your T's. We got don't and we got T's. There's one more that needs one. Yeah, that's actually I's. So that, if you don't look at it carefully, you'd look at that and go, that's the word is, but it doesn't make sense to say don't forget to dot your is and cross your T's. That's supposed to be I's. Don't forget to dot your I's and cross your T's. So we need an apostrophe between the N and the T and don't, between the I and the S and I's, and between the T and the S and T's. Number 8, who was president in 96? I know the answer to this. Does anyone know the answer to this? Who was president in 1996? I think I know the answer to this. It was not Ronald Reagan.
President Obama?
No. No. 1996. I was right.
I know it. Is it Bush?
Nope. His wife ran for president 4 years ago. Bill Clinton. Well, you didn't raise your hand. You gotta raise your hand. Bill Clinton was president in 1996. The reason why I remember that is because I went to the Olympics in Atlanta in 1996. I didn't compete, but I went to observe. And Bill Clinton was actually at the Olympics that year. He was the president. So we didn't see him, but we saw lots of Secret Service. So that's the only reason why I remember that. Okay. So, who was the president in 96? We know. Where does the apostrophe go? Yes, sir.
Before the 96.
Before the 96, yes. Number 9, a country's strength rests in its faith in God's Son, Jesus Christ. Cameron?
Between the Y and the S.
Good. We need one in countries, between the Y and the S. Nope, that one's just a plural verb.
Between D and S and God.
Good. We need the D and the S in God's, and there's one we need to delete. Yes, we need to delete the its because we're not saying a country's strength rests in it is faith in God's Son. This is possessive. Remember, we do not use an apostrophe in the possessive form of its. Number 10, the last one. Let's go to Evan's house and use his telephone. Liviana. Good. Good. There's one more error. Yeah, we need to delete the one above his. His is already a possessive pronoun. We don't need an apostrophe. All right, good job. Go ahead and flip your pages to page 52. Contractions in conversation. We sometimes use contractions when we speak. I think we probably use them a lot when we speak. But we should avoid them in writing except in dialogue, okay? So if you're writing a formal paper, let's say that Mrs. Rule assigns a book report or a research paper. When you are writing a formal paper, you want to avoid using contractions, okay? It's considered informal language. And when we're writing assignments, we want to use formal language. So instead of saying can't, we would want to spell that out in a formal paper, cannot, okay? But when we're just talking and we're writing sentences, we often speak with contractions. Now, if you're including dialogue, let's say you're writing a formal paper, and you're quoting someone and they said something with a contraction, then you could put it in quotation marks and you could include it in your paper. Okay, so let's look at some of these contractions because some of them will change spellings when they go from two words to a contraction. It says, think A. Some contractions require a change in spelling. Write the contractions for the following words. Let's see if you guys can do this on your own. I'll give you a ticket for each one you get right. Will not, cannot, shall not. Will not, cannot, shall not. Gianni, if you want to go ahead and type those into the box for me, comment box, I will check them for you. See if you got them correct. Will not, cannot, shall not. Yes, Josiah. Okay. Very good. I'm guessing probably the most difficult one for you guys will be shall not, because that's not a way that we speak nowadays. That's more of a term that was used in older days, old-fashioned days. Okay, I'm going to come around and check, and then we'll go over what we got on our papers. Try again on that first and third one. We're doing these three. Good. Close. Think about that first one. And their last one's a little bit tricky. Think about them again. Remember, you're deleting words. Oh, you guys should have learned this in years and years of language. You should have learned your contractions. I'm going to help you guys in a minute. You just copied that, basically, and just split it and made it into two words. Can you make it into a contraction? Got 2 out of 3. Got 2 out of 3. Got 2 out of 3. Good job. Okay. Did I check everybody's? Alright, number 1, will not. Okay, I saw some of you put willn't. If you are telling someone, I will not go to the store, you would say, I won't. I won't. Remember, our rule said sometimes the spelling changes. I won't go to the store with you. Cannot. I cannot go to the store with you. I can't go to the store with you. And this is the last one. I didn't expect any of you to know, and I don't think anyone got it. But shall not is actually shan't or shan't. Okay. You might not have heard that one. We don't use that one. We don't speak like that. But if you're listening or watching maybe a movie that's set back in the olden days, that's when you would have heard that term before. All right, think B. Let's see who can do these 3. The most common contractions are made by shortening not to N apostrophe T and combining it with a verb. Write the contractions for the following verbs. So do, does not, should not, and were not. These ones should be a little bit easier. Cameron? Is it about these contractions? I'm going to have you do them on your own because I'm giving tickets away right now. But I will help you guys in a minute once I see what you can do on your own. Okay? Does not, should not, were not. These ones are a lot easier. Basically, all your not apostrophes or not contractions, what letter pops out of them every time? The O. When the O comes out, we put in our apostrophe. Okay, give about 30 more seconds and we'll check them. Gianni. You're not there anymore. Where'd you go, Gianni? Oops. Oops, what happened? Okay. I'm gonna come around and check, see what you guys got. You got the right idea here, but you misspelled it. You left a letter out. So careful when you're copying over. You got your apostrophes in the wrong place. Good. 3 for 3. You're putting the words together. I should not do that. You're putting them together and you're taking out, when you take a letter out, don't say it out loud, please, guys. Then you're putting the apostrophe where the letter came out. Good job, Adam. Good job. I'm gonna get some more letters or some more. Good. Good, let me get some more tickets. These tickets don't want to rip. Where's your apostrophe? Doesn't, shouldn't, weren't. Okay, you're missing one letter in that one. But you got the other two. Yeah, let me see. You didn't have them right, bud, when I came around. Doesn't, shouldn't, weren't. And did you get them, bud? Did I already do yours? Did I already check yours? Where are we at? Doesn't, shouldn't. Okay, so you got two. You're missing a letter here. You got to be careful when you're copying words over. Okay, on all of these, basically, what did we do? We just pushed the two words together, and what letter came out?
Oh.
The O. So does not became what? Doesn't. Oops. Doesn't. I push them together, the O came out. See, I have does not. Push them together, the O comes out. I put the apostrophe where the O came out. Should not became shouldn't. Should, N apostrophe T. And the last one, were not became weren't. Some of you took out that E right there. Make sure we're not taking out extra letters that are not supposed to come out. Thing C. Look at thing C. Contractions are also formed by joining nouns and pronouns with verbs. Write the contractions for the following words. You have. Someone raise your hand. What would this contraction be? Ariel? You've. How do we spell that, class? Y-O-U apostrophe V-E. Okay, it is. What would this contraction be, Emmeline? It. Spell it for me. I-T apostrophe S. How about she would? Tony? Yeah, how do we make that a contraction? Instead of saying she would go to the park. She'd. So how do I spell that? S-H-E? S-H-E? Apostrophe D. She'd go to the park if she was allowed to. Trudy is. Trudy is. How would I do this one? Ariel? Trudy. Spell it for me. Good. How about you are? Liviana? Spell it for me. Good. How about she will? Tristan? She will. Say it. She'll. Good. Can you spell it for me? Apostrophe L-L. She'll. Okay, the W and the I come out of our will contractions. They are. Josiah? Spell it for me. E what? There. Yep. Our contractions, the A comes out. And then I will becomes what, Gavin? Spell it for me. I apostrophe L-L. Let's look in the yellow box there, the writing hint. Let's read it together, class. Ready, begin. When you write a sentence or paragraph or a report, check to see if you can reduce the number of words you have used. Sometimes a possessive noun can help. The teacher that my sister has, that's 6 words. That's very wordy and redundant. I would change that to my sister's teacher. Okay? We're going to go ahead and skip right D. I want you to flip over to the next page. Quotation marks. When do we use quotation marks? Okay, remember that we just learned about apostrophes. Apostrophes are this single, I call them flying commas. That's what they look like to me, okay? They're in the air. There's just one of them. It's like a flying comma, an apostrophe. Quotation marks are when we have 2 flying commas together, okay? Okay, those are quotation marks, the set of 2. Use quotation marks. Let's read that blue word, the blue wording together there. Ready? Begin. Use quotation marks before and after a direct quotation. A direct quotation is the speaker's exact words. Gavin, go ahead and sit correctly in your desk, please. They give an example here. Jesus said, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Ariel, what did Jesus say in this sentence? That was Jesus' exact words. So you'll notice that they put a quotation mark before the first word of his quote. Go ahead and put that away, please. Or right here. And they ended his direct quote with their end quotation marks. Do not use quotation marks for an indirect quotation, which is a rewording of the speaker's words. They give an example of this. Jesus said that unless a man is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. See how they took his direct quote and they reworded it? So when something is reworded and it's not exactly what the person said, then we do not need to use quotation marks, okay? If Olive came up to me and said, Mrs. Rule, I'm going on vacation tomorrow, I would say in my sentence, Olive said, quotation marks, Mrs. Rule, I am going on vacation tomorrow, end quotation marks. Or I could write it without quotation marks by saying, Ariel said that she was going on vacation tomorrow. Do you see how I took her quote and then I reworded it? Okay? So when something is reworded and it's not their exact wording, then we do not have to use quotation marks. Okay? Writers capitalize the first word of a direct quotation. We already learned this in our capitalization rules. Whenever we are starting a direct quote in a sentence, we always capitalize it. Okay? They give examples there. There is none other name under heaven given among men, preached Peter, whereby we must be saved. You'll notice that they did not capitalize the word whereby. Okay, I want everyone looking at this. This is important. If the quote is interrupted in the middle of it, when you continue it, you do not need to capitalize that first word because it's not really the first word in the quote. It's just a continuation of their quote. Okay? Think about the beginning of a quotation as really the first word of a sentence. We always capitalize the first word of a sentence. We always capitalize the first word of the quote. Okay? Writers set off the exact words of a speaker from the rest of the sentence by using a comma, a question mark, or an exclamation point. I'll be glad to help the new student, comma, end of quotes, said Scott. Are you looking for Christ's second coming, question mark, end of quotes, asked the pastor. Notice that the question mark came inside the quotes on this one, and that's because the quote itself is a question. So that when the quote is a question, then the question mark needs to come inside of the quotes. In dark bold, commas and periods also always go in the closing quotation marks. Question marks and exclamation points go inside the closing quotation marks when they apply to the quoted matter. They go outside when they refer to the whole sentence, okay? So commas and periods always go inside or outside of the quotation marks. Inside, okay? Commas or periods always go inside quotes. Okay? Question marks, exclamation points can go inside or outside. And it just depends. Okay? If the whole sentence is a question, then that would go at the end outside of the quotation marks. Okay? But if just the quoted part is the question, like for example, Adam asked, "Can I go to see my mom?" Okay, what he said directly, can I go to see my mom? That's the quoted part, and that's also the question. So my question mark would go inside of my quotes there. Okay? But if the whole sentence is a question, then that's when the question mark would go outside of the quotation marks. Look at the very bottom in the black bold. In quoting more than one sentence, writers use quotation marks only at the beginning and at the end of the whole quotation rather than putting quotation marks around each sentence. I know this is still a lot of information when you see it on a big blue page. The best way to learn it is to practice it and go over it as we go. Page 54. Do we have time? We will practice this tomorrow. We're going to stop there, okay? So go ahead and close up those books for today. Take out your spelling and your writing books. If you are in the paper group, I want you to take out your writing books first, and I want you to turn to page 29. You are going to be working on test number 5. Test number 5. Make sure you are writing very neatly. Make sure you are staying within the lines, 6th grade. Some of the things that I am grading on when you take your test. Okay, remember that when you have your lined paper here, you're supposed to use the lines, right? Some of you are going past the lines, you're writing too big. Okay, so you're going to be graded on spacing. Are your letters spaced correctly? Okay, they're not too close together, they're not too spread apart. You're going to be graded on the size of your letters. Whether you're writing in print or cursive, remember that our capital letters should be what? They should be bigger than our smaller letters. So if I'm writing the word faith, is that the right sizing? No, my big letter is not in proportion to my small letter, okay? So remember that we need to write with the correct size. I don't think I wrote my F correctly. I've altered my writing since I got out of school, so I got to remember the correct way to do them now. Okay, so remember our spacing. Remember we're not supposed to go all the way to the top line with our letters. We come down just a little bit. Remember we're not going past the line. We don't want to be floating, Josiah. We don't want our letters to be like this. Because if it's not on the line, you're going to miss points, okay? The other thing that you're going to be graded on is your formation. Are you forming all your letters correctly, okay? So remember how you've been taught to write your cursive letters. Some of the letters that I'm seeing issues with are your lowercase f. I'm seeing a lot of people going the wrong direction on the loop, going this way. Okay, remember our lowercase f, you go down and you're circling, looping back up, connecting at that bottom line and tail. Okay, your loop should be going this way. I'm seeing a lot of wrong formations on how we're connecting letters. That's another thing that you're going to be looking or graded on is your connections. Okay, remember when you're having the word of, you go up to your F from your O. Come down, tail. Okay, same thing with your O, I's. We did those difficult connections the other day. Okay, so make sure we're connecting correctly. Some of you I see you're going, I don't know how you're doing your A's, but remember to do your A's. You go up to the top of your A, come back down around, connect, okay? Spacing, size, formation, connections, neatness. These are some of the areas you're being graded on. So make sure you're taking your time writing carefully, okay? Every single letter, every single word, okay? So those of you that are in the paper group for your spelling, you may begin working on test 5, page 29. Those of you in the other spelling book, let's stand, we're going to play Sparkle. Where did the state go? Okay, once again, this is a review list, so you should do better, okay? We will play this round where as soon as you say Sparkle, the next person is out, and then we'll switch it up the next round, okay? Here we go. The word is Liviana, just for sakes of being closer to everybody else, why don't you take this desk for now, okay? I don't have to go all the way around. Yes, sir. Not right now. We're doing it the other way, where as soon as you say sparkle, the next person is out. Okay? Here we go. Reference. Okay, we're going to start over. I'm going to give you mercy this one time. You have to be paying attention. If I get to you and you don't know what letter we're on, you're out automatically. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so just pay close attention, but we're going to do a word. And everyone gets one letter. So like we just did reference, R, E, F, E, R, E, N, C, E. So you have to be paying attention because when it gets to you, you have to know what the next letter is. If you don't know the next letter, you're out. If you get to the end of the word and the word's done spelling, you say sparkle and the person who's behind you gets out. Okay? You got to stay on your feet though right now. Okay, here we go. I'll give you a new word. The word is monotony. Oh, we want you to play. Give it a whirl. Okay, we'll go here. Ariel's out. Okay, the word is, hop in here. Peyton, I want you to try, okay? Accessible. Accessible. Nope. Accessible. Try it. Accessible. Nope. 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 Accessible. She's out. Liviana's our winner. Good job, Liviana. Okay, everyone back in. Okay, here we go. We're going to do another round like that. Considerable. Considerable. Payton in. I want you to try. Considerable. Okay, pay attention. Know what letter we're on. Oops. Considerable. He just said E. Nope. Oops, I keep going to you, but it's her. Gavin's out. No. No. Just say, I've already told you how we're playing. Peyton, I want you to put those down. I want you to pay attention. You have this test tomorrow, so you got to pay attention. Okay, the word is manageable. Nope. Liviana's out. Oh, Peyton, but no, Peyton's already out, right? I just want you to pay attention. I want you to get your book out and pay attention. Okay? Gavin, same thing. Just how you should be paying attention when you're out. Noticeable. See ya, Adam. The word is bicycle. Olive's out. Shane and Ariel, the word is binoculars. Nope. Ariel's our winner. Good job, Ariel. All right, everyone back in?
I'm gonna win this one right here.
Okay. We will play this round. Peyton, you're in now. Everyone's back in. I want you to listen and give it a try. We will play this round. When it gets to you, if you're Sparkle, then you can, Gavin, please listen, or you're going to sit back down. When it gets to you in your sparkle, you can choose someone to be out or you can save someone. You'll have the option. Okay, here we go. This one's easy. Triceps. Are you in or out? Triceps. No, I didn't. He said P. Triceps. Nope. Gavin, stand. I said if you don't listen, you're going to be out. I said if. Now are you going to try or do you want to be out? Okay. Tuck your chair in and listen and be quiet. Let's start over. Acceptance. No.
A, C, E, C. A, N, C, E. Sparkle.
Olive's out. Assurance. Assurance. We ended with Josiah, so we'll start here. What'd you say? A?
S, U, R. R.
Nope.
A, N, C, E. Sparkle.
Get to choose someone to get out, or you can save Olive, or Gavin, or Shane. Josiah. You reap what you sow. Appliance.
A, P.
No, P.
Get the pen. Please. A, N, C, E. Sparkle.
Save someone, put someone out. It's your choice.
Save Olive.
Save Olive. All right. The word is disturbance.
D,
No.
I.
S, T,
U.
R, B,
A.
N, C,
E.
Sparkle. Save Olive.
Save Olive again. This game's never going to end. Photography.
P,
H. O.
P, O.
T.
Nope.
G.
R. Nope.
Yours is wrong.
A.
What did you say?
She said P, R, A.
Okay.
P, Y. Sparkle.
You can save someone or you can get someone out. 3, 2, 1. Ay, ay, ay. Seismograph.
S, S, M, O, R, A, P.
Sparkle.
Yeah, I gotta get someone out this time. This game's gonna never end. 3, 2, 1. Bye, Liviana. Depreciate.
D,
E.
P, R,
E. I.
No.
C,
I.
A,
T.
E.
Sparkle.
Ariel.
Olive's our winner.
The one that we said.
After being saved like 3 times. Olive is a perfect picture of God's grace. See, God just loves and forgives and loves and forgives, and then we are victorious. Okay, those of you in the book group, get your cursive writing books out. Go to page 29. Begin working on test number 5. Okay, creative writing, page 29.
Test 5.
So, you're gonna go. You need a piece of paper. Do you have a piece of paper? No? Okay, I'll get you one. Okay, you don't have very much time, so don't waste time, please. We're gonna play. So you're doing test 5. You have to copy this onto here. You don't know cursive yet, so I'm gonna let you just copy it and print. But do your best writing. Use your lines. Make sure you're writing on the lines. Make sure your capital letters are bigger than your little letters. Make sure you have the right spacing. Okay. No, you can go to the bathroom when it's lunchtime. Gavin, you know my rule. Okay, I have people talking and I have not given anyone permission to talk. Those of you in the paper group, you may stand. Emmeline, why don't you come over here to Savannah's desk and so you're close to your...
I'm far away.
Oh, Cameron, you too. Sorry, I always forget about you. Over here somewhere. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Those of you that are not in this group, you need to be working or you're going to run out of time and you're not going to get your test done. This is a test. It will be graded. It needs to be done before you go to lunch. Yes, Gavin. Page 29, test 5. The rule is that you don't go to the bathroom during class time. You go in between classes. You have to wait until lunch. Because Mrs. Rule said. Okay, here we go. We were going to play the first way where the next person's out this round, okay? Equator.
Q.
No. No. Equator. Adam, you have a warning. The next time is 5 minutes. So you're supposed to be obeying, working on your test. It's not, actually, you know what, Adam? That's 5 minutes, and I'll talk to you and I'll tell you why later.
U?
No.
Wait, what did I say?
We went EQU.
A. C. O. R. Sparkle.
Landon's our winner. Okay, everyone back in. That was quick.
What?
You guys need to study your spelling. We shouldn't be getting out that fast.
I knew it.
That was the first word.
I knew it before.
Okay, here we go. Especially pay attention to what they're saying. Especially.
S.
P. E. C.
Nope.
S?
Nope.
Oh, no, not S.
Wait, what did we say?
We're
E-S-P.
we're to the C. Now the C was the last letter that was said.
S-P-C. You said C?
We have ESPEC.
What's the word again?
Especially. 3, 2,
I?
1.
Nope.
Nope.
A.
What did you say?
A. 3, 2, 1. No. Okay, everyone back in. Stand up. Guys, now to pay attention to who's saying what letter so you know what comes next all the time. Because the person in front of you may go out, so you need to know, okay, what comes next? Establish.
E. S.
T?
Establish.
A? B?
Yes.
L. I.
S? H? I?
No. Establish. She said H. What comes next?
O. Sparkle.
Sparkle. Lannon's out. Okay. Example.
E? X?
A.
A? P?
L.
E?
No.
Sparkle.
Sparkle. Tristan's my winner.
One more?
All right, one more round. Everyone back in.
We could do whoever we want to get out.
No, I do not like that.
Yes.
What happened to your pencil, Josiah? I don't know if there are any pencils in here. Does anyone have a pencil they can loan to Josiah? Just use your pen. Write very neatly, though. Make sure you have pencils, plenty of them. All right, the word is excellent. Excellent.
X.
C?
E.
No.
L. E. N. T. Sparkle.
Cameron's out. Cameron, just sit down on the floor. Okay. Excitement.
E.
Nope.
C. I. T. N.
Nope. Lana's my winner. E. Excitement has an E. All right, you guys go get your papers, okay? So you can look at them. Let's go through and say, spell, say real quickly, okay? Quickly, Emmeline and Cameron, get back to your seats. Cameron, go back to your seat. Yes, ma'am, is the correct response. Not dang it. Yes, ma'am. Number one, ready, begin. Equator, E-Q-U-A-T-O-R, equator. Do that one again. Equator, E-Q-U-A-T-O-R, equator. Next, number two, especially, E-S-P-E-C-I-A-L-L-Y, especially. Number three, establish, E-S-T-A-B-L-I-S-H, establish. Number four, example, E-X-A-M-P-L-E, example. Do that one again. Example, say it. E-X-A-M-P-L-E, example. Number five, excellent. E-X-C-E-L-L-E-N-T, excellent. Number six, excitement.
E-X-E-I-T-E-M-E-N-T. Excitement.
Number seven, exercise. E-X-E-R-C-I-S-E, exercise. Number eight, experience. E-X-P-E-R-I-E-N-C-E, experience. Number nine, exterior. E-X-T-E-R-I-O-R, exterior. And number 10, familiar. F-A-M-I-L-I-A-R, familiar. For your homework tonight, all of you are going to write your words one time. I do not have a worksheet for you. I did print one out, but we're going to do something different because y'all have not been doing great. If you got 100 on your pre-test yesterday, which I believe was Liviana, you don't have to do your homework tonight in spelling. And that's going to be my new rule. If you get a homework, you get 100 on your pre-test on Wednesday, you do not have to do your homework on Thursday. And you don't have to take your test. But everyone is going to write their spelling words, book group and paper group. You're going to write your spelling words one time. You do not have to write the vocab, just the spelling words one time. That is your homework. If you are not done with your writing test, get back to it. You have a few minutes.